All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Chat with Corey. And yes, it's that time of year, and it's what everybody has been waiting for, I'm sure. The nation's best bracket will be revealed. It's my bracket. Right here it is. The nation's best bracket will be revealed in just a few moments. And that basically will be the whole shebang today. March Madness starts officially tomorrow, which is Thursday, last night, Tuesday, tonight, Wednesday. The first four are being played in Dayton today, Wednesday. Wednesday is documented to be the biggest day for vasectomies across the United States due to the fact that the NCAA men's basketball tournament will start tomorrow, and then all those men who have that done can sit and watch basketball games for the next 4 days because you're supposed to take it easy for the next 3 or 4 days after having that process done. Just a little tidbit from Corey. Before I forget, we've got our sponsors. We got Kokomo Auto World, my friend Chad Wetz. If you're in the car market and you're looking for a car, reach out to him. Once again, Chad Wetz at Kokomo Auto World, the place to go. And tell him that maybe you heard about him from the Chat with Corey episode that you watched today. Our other sponsor, if you're looking for a trip to one of Disney's destinations or a cruise line or maybe even other things you can find, look up Aaron Scott Travelmation on Facebook, and she can help you with your traveling needs. So those are our two sponsors. And so now we're going to get started. I'm going to go through all the games in my bracket. That'll be it. And we'll get off here. We'll jump off here after we get that done. Okay, there is no RPI, there is no BPI. We use, for this bracket, we use the CGI, Corey's Gut Index. That's what we use. So we're going to start with the upper left bracket. My brackets right now, when you look at them, oh, there it is, which would be the East bracket. And we'll look at the number 1 seed is Duke playing Siena, number 1 versus 16. That's easy. Duke wins. The next game, Ohio State is the 8 seed. TCU is the 9 seed. I'm picking TCU. Why am I picking TCU? I'm just not sold on Ohio State. I don't think the middle to the bottom of the Big Ten is that good. Therefore, I'm not sold on Ohio State, and they've hurt me in the past, so I'm not going with them. St. John's in Northern Iowa, that's the 5-12 in the East. St. John's has Coach Rick Pitino. That's all I need to say. We'll get a little bit more about that. Kansas and Cal Baptist, we're going with Kansas. Okay, we're going with Kansas. Here is my first upset special. Louisville, the 6th seed, and South Florida. South Florida is really good. They're really good. Louisville, I'm not sure that they're clear out of the woods of their drama and their mess has been Louisville for the last 4 or 5 years, so I'm taking South Florida there. Michigan State, North Dakota State, taking Michigan State. I'm always taking Coach Izzo in those first round games when I can. Coach Izzo's the best. UCLA, UCF, University of Central Florida is really good. I'm not sold on UCLA. I'm not sold on Mick Cronin, so I'm not picking Mick Cronin. I went with UCF. UConn and Furman. I'm going with Danny Hurley. The Fighting Danny Hurleys of UConn will win, and they will win their first round game. On to the next round. I will take Duke over TCU. I will take St. John's over Kansas. I will take South Florida versus Michigan State. I'm taking Michigan State. I will take UCF versus UConn. I will take UConn. See where I'm going there? Here is the one. I'm taking St. John's over Duke. Yes, I said it. I'm taking St. John's over Duke. People are like, are you seriously taking St. John's over Duke? Absolutely, I'm taking St. John's over Duke. Number 1, I'm taking Coach Rick Pitino. I think he's really good. I know he's a mess. I know he's had his issues at times, but he's taken 5 different programs to the NCAA tournament. And I'm taking Coach Rick Pitino over Duke. And everybody's picking Duke, so I'm not going to pick Duke. That's what the CGI teaches me. Corey's gut index teaches me don't pick with everybody else. And then Michigan State over UConn. Once again, the Fighting Tom Izzos. Coach Izzo is the best. He's been good at coaches' clinics I've attended. He's been good over the long haul of coaching. He's a proven winner. This is like the 29th time in a row or something crazy that they've been to the NCAA tournament. It's just phenomenal. So Coach Izzo will go to the Elite Eight to face St. John's and Coach Rick Pitino, a battle of two great coaches, and then I'm taking Michigan State on to the Final Four. That's bracket number one. That's the East. You don't have to agree with anything I say. You don't have to. You could tell me that I'm crazy. That's fine. But when you pick your bracket, you're picking your bracket, how you see your bracket playing out for what you believe in and what you think. And I'm going to come back to that when we get to the very end of this whole bracket reveal and why I do what I do. Okay, so now we're going to go to the South region. Okay, number 1 seed, Florida. Florida is going to play the winner of Lehigh and Lehigh and Prairie View A&M tonight. So they'll play the winners. Obviously, I'm taking Florida. Clemson, Iowa. Iowa's had a good year. Okay, they've come back a little bit. They've made the tournament for the first time in a while with the new coach. But I'm going with Clemson over Iowa because Coach Brad Brownell is from Evansville, Indiana. I like the style of play they've had, and they've had a couple real good runs the last few years in the NCAA tournament. Vanderbilt versus McNeese. That's one of those magic 5-12s. They always say you're going to have a 5-12 upset somewhere, but I'm taking Vandy. I think Vandy's turned a corner. I think they've had a lot of success this year. I think it's one of the better teams they've had in their program in a long, long time. Then the next game is Nebraska and Troy. I'm taking Nebraska. Nebraska's never won a game in the NCAA tournament. We'll have more on that in just a second. University of North Carolina will win their first round game versus VCU. And then Illinois will play Penn. They will play the Fighting Fran McCaffery. Fran McCaffery, formerly of Iowa in the Big Ten. Coach Franny is taking his 5th team to the NCAA tournament. And so Illinois will beat Coach McCaffery in his 5th trip to the NCAA tournament. St. Mary's and Texas A&M. St. Mary's and Coach Bennett have been a staple along with Gonzaga out of the West Coast Conference out there. Good for them. I'm taking them over Texas A&M. Not sold on A&M. Not sold on the Big 12 in general. We'll get to that in just a second. And then I'm taking old dirtball, old worthless Kelvin Sampson and Houston to beat Idaho. I don't take him much. I don't ever want Coach Kelvin Sampson to win, but his teams tend to be pretty good teams, but I am not taking him. On to the Sweet 16. Or the round of 32 there, and we'll go Florida, Clemson. I'm taking Florida. Florida's really good, people. They were a national champion last year. They're really good. I'm taking Nebraska, not to win 1 game, but I'm taking them to win 2 games for the first time in the NCAA tournament. They're going to beat Vandy. I'm taking Illinois over University of North Carolina. North Carolina is good, but they're not what they once were. We went through that here in Indiana with the Indiana Hoosiers. Well, that's all we're going to say about them today. And then I'm going to take Houston over St. Mary's, as much as it hurts my heart and pains me to say so. Houston will beat St. Mary's. Then we're on to the Sweet 16. Florida will beat Nebraska because I think Florida is really good. I think Nebraska's had a great run. Winning 2 games may be all that they can get out of themselves, but great year for Nebraska. And then Illinois. Illinois can really score the basketball. And they're going to beat Illinois is going to beat Houston, causing a Elite 8 game between Florida and Illinois, causing Illinois to go to the Final Four. On to the upper right of your page here in the West bracket, I'm taking Arizona over LIU. I'm taking Utah State over Villanova. Villanova back in the tournament, but Utah State is really good. I mean, they're really good. And their coach is a hot commodity. People are thinking about taking Coach Calhoun away from Utah State and taking him somewhere to a different program. But hey, I'm picking them to win that first round game. Then we have Wisconsin High Point. You got to have the 5-12 upset, right? I'm going with High Point. Why am I choosing High Point? High Point is excited to be there. They have made their name known a little bit the last few years. They are in the tournament. They're going to pull the upset over Wisconsin. Wisconsin is good, but they have not tended to fare well the last few years in the NCAA tournament. Arkansas, Hawaii. I'm taking Arkansas. I'm taking Coach Cal. Coach Cal is good. Coach Cal is good. Looking to take his third program to a Final Four. Looking to take his fourth program to the Final Four. UMass, Memphis, Kentucky, and then if he could do it here, Arkansas. More on that in just a minute. BYU will be facing Texas. Texas won last night in the first four versus North Carolina State. I am not ever going to pick a Sean Miller cheating fool team. I am going to take BYU over Texas. Gonzaga, the Zags, will beat Kennesaw State. Gonzaga's the greatest Cinderella story of the NCAA tournament in the history of the NCAA tournament is the Gonzaga Bulldogs climbing to a perennial power in men's college basketball. Miami over Missouri. Don't know much about Miami other than they have some of IU's leftovers who left last year playing for them. And then Purdue over Queens. Queens, good for you being in your first or second year of eligibility. But the Boilermakers have lots of senior leadership, and they're coached really well by Coach Matt Painter. So, now we go. Arizona, Utah State, upset city, baby. Utah State will continue to play, and nobody will be able to hire their coach yet. Arizona plays in the Big 12. Not sold on the Big 12. Arizona used to play in the Pac-12, not sold on the Pac-12. Arizona has just never sat well with me. They've never lived up to the hype. They've won their one national championship, and every year people want to talk about how good they are. I'm not picking them. I'm not falling for it. I've fallen for it before. Utah State wins that game. Arkansas is going to take care of High Point after they have their big upset of Wisconsin. Gonzaga is going to continue their history of making a Sweet 16 by beating BYU. Purdue is going to roll through Miami and move on to the Sweet 16 once again. Just an outstanding senior class at Purdue. Arkansas will beat Utah. Gonzaga will revenge the last few times they've played against Purdue. They will beat Purdue. They owe Purdue. And Arkansas will beat Gonzaga, and they will go to the Final Four. The Midwest bracket, our final bracket, Michigan over Howard. Howard won last night. Michigan will win. Georgia, St. Louis. St. Louis has a really good coach, Coach Schertz. And you know what? I just don't ever see Georgia, but believe in Georgia as a college basketball program. St. Louis will win that game. Akron, another 5-12er. Akron will upset Texas Tech. Texas Tech has lost the Toppin kid to an injury. Texas Tech, I'm just not sold on since the great coach Bobby Knight was there. So we're going to take Akron. Alabama, Hofstra. I wish Hofstra would pull it off. Not a fan of Alabama. Not sure that Alabama should be in the NCAA tournament after playing ineligible players at different points this year. Tennessee will beat the winner of Miami, Ohio, SMU, which I am picking the Red Hawks of Miami, Ohio to win that game. University of Virginia will beat the Wright State Raiders, and my former student and friend Cole Pittsford, the strength and conditioning coach there for the men's basketball team at Wright State. University of Kentucky will continue to beat Kentucky and be Big Blue Nation and beat Santa Clara. Good season for Santa Clara, making it back to the NCAA tournament for the first time in like 30 years. And Iowa State versus Tennessee State. Tennessee State's dream season comes to an end. Iowa State will win. All right, round of 32. Michigan takes care of business versus St. Louis. Akron's slipper falls off. Alabama on to the Sweet 16. Tennessee takes care of the University of Virginia. Kentucky bows down to Iowa State. So then we're on to the Sweet 16. and Michigan beats Alabama. Michigan, keep an eye on that name. Tennessee beats Iowa State, and Iowa State and Michigan, or Iowa State beats Tennessee. I'm sorry, I screwed that up. Iowa State will face Michigan in the Elite Eight. Michigan will go on to the Final Four. In the Arkansas Michigan matchup, Michigan wins, goes to the national championship game. On the other side, Michigan State, Illinois. Illinois wins, goes on to the national championship game. Let's just pause right there with Illinois and Michigan sitting in the national championship game, and let me explain. Yes, I have 3 Big Ten teams making it to the Final Four. The Big Ten has not fared well the last few years in the NCAA tournament. I think they're due for another run. It would not be the first time that 3 teams from one conference has been in the NCAA tournament or in the NCAA Final Four. Won't be the first time that it happened with 3 Big Ten teams doing it. But Illinois can score the basketball. And you can talk as much as you want about playing defense and being hardworking and playing on the defensive end. And people are worried about Illinois being able to stop people on the defensive end. They can score the basketball. And the NCAA tournament boils down to people who can score the basketball. If you could shoot it, you could score it, you got a chance. You guys could shoot it, you could score it, you got some upperclassmen, you have a real good chance in the NCAA tournament. And that's what I said this thing is built on. Upperclassmen shooting the basketball, scoring the basketball. Michigan, Arkansas, or Michigan over Arkansas, it's pretty simple. Michigan is big, people. They are big. They could shoot it, they could score it from the perimeter, but they've got size. They're long, they've got athleticism. I love Dusty May from right here in the state of Indiana. You know, some people think maybe he should be the coach at IU, but I respect the fact that he would not leave the University of Michigan after 1 year. So, Dusty May and the Michigan Wolverines will be your 2026 men's NCAA National Championship team. When I go through my bracket and I pick these teams in my bracket, here's what I did. I joke about the CGI, the Corey Gut Index. And here's the thing about Corey's Gut Index is you can go chalk and you can pick all the 1 seeds and you can pick all the big name and the traditional powers to win. But if you're going to win in a pool or you're going to have any success, you got to do something outside the box. I've researched it before. I've done analytics. I've used my own analytics system before. Win margin, seniors, win streaks, who you've played, scheduled strength, and I've done bad. My wife has gone through and picked certain mascots because they would beat the other mascot in a fight. She's picked certain things because she likes their colors of the team. She's picked certain teams because, let's just use Gonzaga. She likes to say Zags. She picks the Zags to go to the Final Four virtually every year because she likes to say Zags. The NCAA tournament is a great time of year. Tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday, the opening 2 days are just outstanding. You have 16 games each day. 32 games, 16 games each day. And then you have your round of 32 with your 16 winners each day. I love college basketball. I think it is an exciting time. That is my bracket. I put it on social media. People judge my bracket. You judge your bracket. You judge my bracket. That's fine. That's fine. But it's about what the CGI tells me. Corey Gut Instinct tells me this is what we're going with. And it could be horrible. It could be great. But the best thing about March Madness is nobody has any idea. Nobody has any idea. So that's this week's chat with Corey. It was all about your bracket, and it was all about the CGI, Corey Gut Index. And you know what? We'll just have to wait and see. Tomorrow at high noon, about 12:30-ish probably, will be the first games of the tournament. and we'll get running. I'm watching games all day tomorrow. Don't tell my principal at school why I'm supposed to be teaching school. It may or may not be on my computer, but once it starts, it's fun, and we just continue this thing on for the next few weeks. If you're looking for a car, remember to get in contact with our sponsor back here, Coach Chad Wetz at Kokomo Auto World, the place to go. If you're looking to plan a trip, reach out to Erin Scott Travelmation on Facebook. Let her plan your next vacation. And with that being said, people, get out there, find those things you enjoy to do. This guy enjoys the NCAA tournament. That's what I'll be doing for the next 4 days. Goodbye, everybody.